35. We're back, baby. It's award season.
We swapped today. Yeah.
That's why he's there.
Yeah, we swapped today because I'm coming in hot
Because he's just Ken.
to talk about.
Hey, man. There's no need to do that.
Oh, there is. Because...
Hey, isn't Ken the main character in that film?
Incorrect.
Incorrect.
Stop right now. Thank you
Incorrect.
very much.
Anyway, we've got a pretty entertainment-centric episode this week. And we've got props for the first time.
I don't want to,
toot your horn.
I don't want to, blow your expectations out of the water, but I will amaze you.
You know what? It was that meme, right?
What?
You know what
do you know what that is? Because I don't know what that is.
Which
You know what? There's so many memes. I'll put it up.
We'll insert it and then, yes, so
I'll
for
definitely
reference. There we
insert
go.
it if it was her going
And
like-
then you'll understand.
Yeah,
I won't
what that
understand, but,
was.
whatever.
Okay, you know what? First up, let's get into it. The reason that I'm relegated to the bench. Let's talk about the Oscars.
The
What happened?
Oscars, baby. The
gonna-
creme de la creme.
Let's
The
get a recap.
last award
yeah,
ceremony of the season.
Yes. So this past Monday for us in Australia, saw the end of the award season with the 96 Oscars. It was pretty poppin'. It was pretty much anticipated because this whole award season has been pretty it's been some good competition with stuff. But also maybe that's because I was more invested in this year's batch of movies. And I would say for you too, you've seen quite a few of the Best Picture nominees.
And I think, it helps when you've got certain favorites involved. It helps when, I think the whole Barbenheimer phenomenon really put a spotlight into the movies and
cinema.
And then even the random ones that have come through, like, Past Lives, Anatomy of the Fall, and then the proverbial punching bag that is Maestro.
Exactly.
So you got a bit of everything there, I think.
Yes, exactly. So I was very much more invested in this one because I think I stated this in an earlier episode that I've seen 9 out of 10 of the Best Picture nominees. And then as well, I was involved. I told this year I was involved with an online competition.
Yeah.
With one of the cinemas to basically predict the categories and winners.
How did that go, by the way?
They will. It's still a couple 2 weeks until they'll announce. I think at the end of the month,
Tabulate all the results and
they'll
stuff.
announce winners. But I did pretty good. I got 17 out of 23.
That's pretty good.
So
That's pretty good.
because of the fact that I pretty much knew about the spread. The spread of the movies that were all in categories. I sort of fell out on the documentaries, but
But that's going to happen.
It's a bit harder.
In stark contrast, Kev, can you tell us what's your experience with the Oscars this year?
I was busy working, busy bringing home the monies. No, but the thing about the Oscars in Australian time, it's always during peak work hours, right?
So hilariously, I would thank you for touching upon this.
she was working too.
It is funny. I was also working and doing my business, but there is a sense of multitasking, isn't there? Channel 7 in Australia specifically marketed the Oscars in their promos as watch it live while you work from home. And I just thought
That's the way to do it.
They knew.
They knew what's up.
The demographic.
In my previous workplaces where we did have TVs around because I did work in the media industry.
Yeah, it would have been on, right? Just
it was
if
always
the NBA
on.
playoffs
The
is
same
on.
thing with
Yeah.
NBA. It just happens,
Cricket,
right?
to
It's
a
your
lesser degree.
standard Monday American thing that happens where it just happens that, if you're interested as well, it's just part of the passage of time, Super Bowl can have a 3-hour lunch just because you can. So,
You can't have it.
productivity, guys. Productivity.
Exactly. But yes, I do remember you set your whole desk near the TV, and so had to be prepared. She was still working. Hey, she was still working.
Still had my meetings.
Exactly.
Still had my thoughts.
All right, let's get into it.
Exactly. All right, so we'll start off first. So the viewing numbers is pretty interesting. It was 19.5 million estimated this year, which is the highest in 4 years.
Is that American numbers or is that global numbers?
I think it might be American.
Yeah. Well, I would just assume it's American, right?
Yes.
Because it's
compared to 18.8 million last year. But even then, last year's Oscars was pretty poppin' as well. But I think
The
It's
extra 1 million is because of
Barbenheimer.
well, one man, arguably one man, and one man alone
Unbelievable.
who has my heart.
In this household, we stand Ryan Gosling.
Can we just give him a clap? Like,
Well,
I just think
we're
that,
starting
like,
off early
No.
with actors.
No.
I just think that he's fantastic. I saw him in real life when we were in Germany.
Yes, I
in
remember you
Berlin.
sending pictures of that.
Breathe the
Insert-
same
insert
air as
here.
him. This is my whole.
3 hours of my life I'll never get back.
Hey man, hey
You
man.
got to be at a premiere
When
in
in
Europe.
when in Berlin.
Exactly. Oh, yes, exactly.
It's probably one of the better things to do in Berlin, to be honest. Berlin's great. I love Berlin.
Oh goodness.
Good kebabs.
But I think what also contributed to probably it being a better sort of ceremony was that they reintroduced a former tradition that brings back former winners. That was first introduced in 2009.
I love this. This was so
It's
good.
so nice.
So Kev, just so you know, so what the Oscars, because it's all about tradition, it's all about the history, what you call it, cinema. All this is being said with like italics.
Italics. Take a shot every time we say cinema. this section.
Cinema. They brought the winners of that category back
To introduce the nominees.
to introduce
Awesome.
the nominees,
Yep.
Yes.
and it
so
was
yeah.
the pairings were quite
it was quite good.
quite good.
Because, like, for example, you have Michelle Yeoh. She came back to introduce Sandra Huller.
Yep.
It was for the main quartet acting categories that
Yeah.
they did this for. And so you had Nicolas Cage, Matthew McConaughey,
Yeah,
Sam Rockwell,
yeah.
Ke Huy Quan. It was like an all stars of just bringing them back in. And
Jennifer Lawrence.
they would be matched up to each nominee and basically introducing them instead of playing the reel.
Yeah,
So
which is a
Yeah.
nice touch, and you got a whole lot of like really nice words, some spicy words. It was so good to see Sam Rockwell and RDJ play it out again.
Who
like
was
it's
hosting, by the way?
Iron Man 2. Oh,
Jimmy Kimmel.
Jimmy Kimmel.
Fine.
I nearly
Yeah.
said I nearly said
I heard
Fallon.
the F, but
Oi.
I jumped.
A good
in
job,
there.
any good jokes? So.
He's good for the star power that he can bring, if that makes sense. Like when you're creating like skits with celebrities.
What's his writers though? It's not him.
No, it's not. It won't just be him.
Yeah.
But I think it's because, like, widely speaking, and I'm saying this very widely, he's generally
Safe.
safe.
Yeah.
However,
Should've got
I
joke
know we're
right.
supposed to be going into categories, but very quickly, I don't know if this was on your list,
No,
but
yeah,
there was this is a 101 lesson for all celebrities, and I'm talking to you, other woman on my t-shirt, Emma Stone, Academy Award winning Emma Stone,
2-time.
2-time. That's crazy. 2 times? My gosh.
Yes.
So, you get so at the start of his monologue, he spoke about all the different movies, making the standard jokes. And you know what? Hilariously, now that I think about it, it kind of feels the same vein of like Joko's jokes.
With Golden Globes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But it's because he's,
No, hold on. But
in the industry.
But without the offense, I'm assuming, right?
Well, there's this one in particular where he spoke about Poor Things, which is Emma Stone's movie, and just basically reduced it more about the because it's essentially about a film about this being who was created
and explores sexuality and all that.
like explore its life and explore sexuality, and he reduced it basically to the the sexual component of the film. And then you can see as all the cameras pan to like
To
the
the
reactions and
audience,
whatnot, you can see Emma Stone being flicked up on the screen, and we're pretty sure that she says to her husband, he's a prick.
The mouthing sounds like it pretty much is. This is like Medvedev levels of karma.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
That's what it seemed like. She said.
But
So-
overall, I guess he did great in the priest, the skits, the hyping of the awards best as he can. I'm secretly hoping, and I'm wondering if this is also in your run sheet.
Yes,
sorry,
I think
that
we're touching on this earlier.
John
yes.
Mulaney should genuinely be the next
host.
because he's
Yes.
like
He basically did an audition
in his 5 minutes he
Yes.
smashed it out of the park
when he was introducing
so
his category. Like honestly, regarding Jimmy Kimmel, I'm just like, I'm kind of tired, I guess, of seeing him come back. But again, it's because he's the safe choice.
Yeah, he's a safe choice. He's hitting his Fallon era.
Yeah.
You know, where like Kimmel, because I didn't really like him. I think
start.
I've said this in another podcast at one
Yes,
point in time,
yes.
where it's like at the start. But
Because
then
we were about Jimmy Fallon.
yeah, we're about Jimmy Fallon at the time,
Yes.
and then Kimmel came, and then he's like, oh, okay, cool. So he's friends with a lot of like the people we like, et cetera, et cetera. He does funny skits and key recurring sections and whatnot in his show. And then now it's just kind of like, yeah, gotta go on to the next one. Hey, the new flavor.
Okay, so I was just searching up. So Jimmy Kimmel has hosted 4 times.
Yeah,
But
safe choice.
But when I was trying to Google, I said Jim or Kimmel. So
That feels right.
yeah. So yeah, he's done it 4 times. And it's just, I remember seeing a lot of people touching on particular jokes that he said, where it's like, we're over the, movies are long jokes. Like, That's been done and dusted. That's been beaten to death. It's like a lot of people just being like, let's bring back people who are genuine about movies. Yeah. And not just ragging on it for the sake of comedy and whatnot.
Just that little bit that it's going to, get a fake laugh, a canned laugh and whatnot.
Who are passionate. Like, I'm sure like your Billy Crystal sort of
that
that's a while back. Yeah, those kind of people.
Yeah. Back to the categories.
Back to the categories. So we're beginning with the acting quartet. So as it was predicted, and they were the front runners throughout the whole award season. So supporting was given to Divine Joy Randolph and Robert Downey Jr. Well earned, I would say, across both.
Contrary to some opinions that are being held that he is playing himself, I disagree.
No, legit. Like this was RDJ's like best move post Marvel.
Yeah,
to have joined this role. Yeah, because I remember like explaining to a friend that like yes, he does play roles that are often in his like same wheelhouse, like the kooky, sarcastic characters. But this one as Louis Strauss, it's like it was different enough that you're just like, oh.
He's literally done a renaissance twice. Yeah. If you really think about it, right? So obviously post the, being locked up and getting in trouble and all that stuff, and then being offered Iron Man, and then the decade of Iron Man where people are still convinced like, hey, come back because you got to save Marvel.
Let him be with his billions.
And then now with this move, like he said, he needed this role more than the film needed him, and smashed it. So good on him.
Exactly. To work with the Christopher Nolan, and I'll extend the same to Divine Joy Randolph. I know you haven't seen Holdovers
No, I haven't yet.
But she was incredible in the Holdovers, and it's like she was in the same acting class, I believe, as Lupita. So that's why they're friends.
Oh, that's nice.
And so it's like you love to see it, like representation as well. Like her speech was incredible. It was touching.
There has to be a certain amount of pressure or expectation if you've won all of the awards throughout the whole season.
Oh yes.
To possibly like lose the last one, which
is about to touch onto something, onto the next category. Yeah. So for leading, we had Emma Stone and Cillian Murphy. Okay, so let's start with Emma Stone.
Okay, let it out, Kat, let it out.
Starting with Emma Stone, I will say I was a bit disappointed, but it's like I've seen her in Poor Things. She was amazing in that role. She really embodied it. It was great, but I really believe it should have gone to Lily Gladstone. Like it boggles my mind, but it was hard because I know there's some politics to it, because I believe Emma won the BAFTA, but then Lily won the SAG award. So it was meant to be a very close race between them.
So Kev, just so you're across it, there is basically a kind of in the same way with I guess any other awards in any other sporting field or whatever, the key indicators that if you win a certain award in that category, it's like
it's setting
you're weighted up 50% more likely to win or whatever versus
and the next major one.
So like whereas all the other categories have been kind of a a one person race.
One horse.
I didn't know.
I know which phrase.
I don't want to say horse for different reasons, as it will come to play in soon. In the leading actress category, there was a
Jeez.
startle myself.
There's a lot of props.
Yeah, a lot of props because fallen and everything, but yeah, it was a two person race
For this one. In a way, I would say Emma was the dark horse for this race. Because a lot of people were hoping for Lily because of the representation. She was the first Indigenous actress to be nominated.
And she literally held Killers of the Flower Moon on her back.
Yes.
I'd say that as somebody who hasn't watched the film, so don't.
As someone who has seen it, yes, she was like the star of it. Yeah. Absolutely. Well, in her introduction, she was the soul of that movie, and so it just. I remember as soon as it was announced for Emma, I just felt a very like the wind was just taken out, because we were myself along with a lot of people probably on the internet were hoping for Lily, because it would have been a historic win.
Yeah.
And like, I'm sure she will, I hope that she will continue to get the chance for another role. But again, as history knows, it's always harder for Black, Indigenous, people of color, actors and actresses to get that extra leg up in comparison to white actors and actresses who just speed on through.
And that's the other thing about Oscars, which is quite interesting, where it's like, you know, if you win the pinnacle, right, then it's like the idea is that it then helps you jump into new opportunities. You know, you get your currency kind of value up in the market, and people want to then work with you and stuff. But there's also history that shows that sometimes doesn't work out, because it's...
Well, we discussed this. An example, Lupita Nyong'o.
Yeah.
She won her Oscar 10 years ago. And she hasn't been...
She hasn't been as big as you thought she would be.
As much projects as, say, Jennifer Lawrence.
Yeah.
So it speaks volumes. It's quite interesting.
Mm-hmm.
So let's see how that goes. So unfortunately, like, again... great for Emma. She's very talented. Like, don't get me wrong. Like, Poor Things was quite the film. Like, it was very, very intriguing. But I really do believe it should have gone to Lily, because she had such a nuance, such a subtle performance, which is what was a key factor for Cillian Murphy, who won.
Yep.
And he swept the whole way, and deservedly so, because. As
an amazing performance. Bradley Cooper, you could never.
You tried so hard.
Let's keep like taking shots at Bradley.
Well,
Cooper.
because Bradley Cooper campaigned hard against Cillian,
as you should. Like,
and
if you want to win it.
But he gave. There was much shade in the campaigning, where he thought, you know, oh, I've immersed myself in this role for 3 years, and meanwhile he's like, Cillian has only been immersed in 6 months, and like pretty much smashed it. Bro, I don't know if that's like how you're describing it is the best way you want to describe it. Also, I just call that an efficient and well prepared actor. So you know.
And well, look, Cillian is more talented than Bradley. I'll say it.
Let's say it. I'll say it. Let's say it. Yes. We love you, Rocket Raccoon. We love you, but
yes, like yes, you're great as Rocket Raccoon. I'm sure there are other roles that you're good at, but no, Cillian he's been solid in every single role that he's done. So he has more range, I would say, as well. So deservedly so. Happy that Cillian managed to get his first nomination and first win. You'll have to see it.
One from one.
In one sit go. All right, so that's our acting quartet for this year, which is, I feel like quite often whenever they show the quartets, there's at least 3 out of 4 I'm very happy got it, and then there's the one that I'm like, could have gone to someone else, but that's okay. I guess
that's how it is. That's how they roll. The Academy votes in a certain way.
Yeah, they can never get it fully right. They can never make you fully happy. So just how it is. Touching on Barbenheimer, so we'll talk about them in the sense of their nominations and their wins.
Yep.
So Oppenheimer came out on top, winning 7 out of 13 nominations.
Which is expected.
Which was, they were bound to get it. And they were the most nominated movie this year. Because besides RDJ and Cillian, they won Best Director, hooray for Christ Nolan. finally his first Oscar
Mm-hmm.
after several years. They won Best Score. You couldn't beat Ludwig this
No.
year. There was no way you
No
could
way.
beat him. The amount of times people play "Can You Hear the Music?" The violins, ugh, the chills every time I hear it.
Mm-hmm.
They also won cinematography. Hoytven Hoytema. I hope I'm saying that name right. You can't go wrong with him because he did Dunkirk. He did.
It's really good to see the ongoing collaboration that
Yes.
happens within a Nolan film, and
When
like
you-
when you start working like so closely together and can understand the vision that's supposed to be driven towards, you can see it, you see it play out in I guess all domains. So it's like very well done to the Oppenheimies.
The Oppenheimies, yeah.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
It's very much, Nolan is a good example of like when you've got in your team, like you stick with your team.
That's it.
And then you're just gonna end up building something even better.
That's it.
And like deservedly so.
And then what about Barbie? What happened with Barbie?
Oh, Barbie. So they got 8 nominations, right? They only went home with 1.
Which is also to be expected if we're thinking about is Barbie a legitimate cinema masterpiece? The conjecture about it. I say it is, but obviously there are degrees of, perception of acting, and that's
and
what
cinema.
But
Yeah.
you gotta give props to genuinely the execution of it all. The fact that they were nominated in film best picture
Yes.
still stands, and I think that is a great testament to the whole team, even though it is more about the producers. But Greta Slade, like genuinely, like being able to
It's
bring that
still-
all together. The script was amazing.
It's still unfortunate she didn't get nominated for
It's
directing, but
yeah,
it
it's
is what it is.
when you're fit within the confines of what people deem as the standard or the criteria. I think that's the biggest glaring like thing that you can see, right? Where it's your Oppenheimer is deemed best in everything, when other people think, oh no, but you're thinking about the freshest movie, be it Past Lives, be it Anatomy of the Fall, where it's actually like gripping and really good from like what's being respected from an artist point of view versus the regular punters, right? Where it's
Yes.
like, what is it? And then versus the Academy. So that's good. I just really want to talk about Ryan Gosling again, to be honest. Like, as we close this out super quickly, like
Yes.
it was everything. Like, if there's one video that you need to watch this week,
Over this guy, man.
it is the performance of I'm just Ken. Sublime.
Knocked it out of the park. Like I could not keep my eyes off of it. I was laughing. I was enjoying it, and just the way that they were able to bring that to life.
Yeah.
Essentially, I
Yeah.
was just like,
Literally the last performance,
Damn.
and while it was never going to win Best Song, it was always going to go to Billie Eilish.
Yes,
But what a performance! What a star!
props to him for just putting his hand up, like, okay, I will perform this. And like, shout out to Mark Ronson. I think this is like his second
Yeah.
Oscar nominated song too.
Yeah, killing it.
put
My
in.
boy's killing it as well.
Exactly.
Amazing.
So, besides that, well, I was going to add for Barbie. I genuinely thought they could have gotten production or costume, but
Yeah, but
both
Poor
went
Things,
to
right?
Poor Things.
Yeah,
Oh,
because
yeah.
it's like
Poor Things was
your
more exotic and
yeah, and it's just like it's
and strange
yeah,
and all that.
which is
Which is unfortunate, but
is what
you
it
know,
is.
it is what it is. Just quickly, so out of the best pictures, Killers of the Flower Moon, Past Lives, and Maestro went home empty-handed. I mean, I'm fine with Maestro going empty-handed. I knew Past Life was always going to be hard to get in there because it's an indie darling, I think, of this season. And then it's just a real shame for Killers of the Flower Moon because I really thought they would have gotten it with Lily at least. So
And again, it's I guess it's the change of the guard, right? Where you've got your stalwart, elite, be it Leo, be it Scorsese and whatnot.
even Leo
but now
wasn't
you got to
nominated,
make
yeah. So
But now
that's
it's
the
I
thing.
guess you got to make the everything is shifting, everything is
The new-
changing.
the
The
new
new is coming
artists
in.
have come in.
So
yeah.
will be interesting to see what happens in the movies next year.
Well, this upcoming year and
Yeah.
whatnot, it'll be very interesting. But otherwise, I have to say, I pretty much enjoyed this Oscars. Ready for the next ones to roll in, and so otherwise, keep waiting for cinema.
We'll see you at
Pew,
the
pew, 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 pew,
movies.
pew.
You.
Well, on to the next topic. Where is Princess Kate? Now, you've been spending a lot of time piecing this
let's
together.
I have something prepared, and
Okay.
and I actually was going to do a segue.
She's so proud of it. I'm so proud of her.
I was actually going to do a segue from the movies because this also features a, I think it was an Academy nominated film as well.
Yes.
Let me just get this right.
All right, let's go.
There's a lot of moving parts.
Gone
in this one.
Girl, Kate Middleton's version. Yes. All right.
Go.
So,
Yeah.
welcome to my TED Talk of what's been going down with Kate Middleton.
We're really phrasing this as a TED Talk.
Well, you know.
Okay, go.
Okay. So, I'm just going to walk
TED Talk is
everyone-
15 minutes, but
Well, there's going to be a bit more in between, you know?
Okay,
So let me just set the premise of, you know, I'm going to walk through the timeline of what's happened so far. Because if you haven't been on the internet,
or not interested in
if
it.
you
So this is brand new
haven't-
information.
if you have not been enthralled in this week, I got you, okay? Literally every time that I have to go to the bathroom mid like in the midnight because I need to pee, I'm literally on Twitter and then something else
What's
has
the
come
new
up.
update?
And it's just been insane. And let me also say that I'm not a fan of The Crown, but I best believe it, I will be watching the next season, even though it's been said that it's done. They've got another season in them. They're gonna go again. Trust
They've got
me.
material.
All right. So Gone Girl, Kate Middleton's version.
Yeah.
I'm gonna give a quick timeline. Sponsored by Time Magazine. Thank you, because you got to quote your sources, right?
Yeah.
So in December of 2023, no, yes.
Yes.
So, you know, the royals, they have to go about and do their duties, right? As they're you know, being amongst the people and whatnot. And, you know, as every year, Christmas Day, it's no different. They have their service, you know, all the fans are
All the
being like,
traditional
oh, you
stuff,
know,
yeah.
yeah. They're like waving to the royal family. They wave back, etc., etc.
Solid
Yes.
waving action.
This is the last known public appearance of Kate Middleton.
Yep.
All right? Just so you know.
Yes.
We go into January this year. So there was an article that was put out by the royal family PR, I guess, that, you know, Kate is out of service for up until end of March because she has a planned abdominal surgery that is expected for her to recover in 2 weeks, but she will not be doing any public appearances up until end of March, which is going to be Easter time,
Sounds
which
legit.
makes sense, right?
Okay.
Get in front of the tabloids, yeah.
So, pointing it out here as is expected, and you know they like to put out some good publicity for their boy Will. Okay, Will went to the hospital. Great, that's what you're supposed to
bare
do
minimum.
as a husband. That's what you're supposed to do. You're supposed to be there the whole time. Meanwhile, I'll also flag at this point of time, which
tell
I've
me.
realized I haven't put into my bloody notes here, that there's been pictures that have been circulating on the internet that happened at this time, but has now come back as proof, as there was a whole convoy of Range Rovers and ambulances that left the Sandringham Palace, which I believe that's where they live, or Windsor. I don't know. You know, you figure it out, right? And everyone, the what you call it, the royal family did not say anything about it. There's been no kind of explanation for it. They've just stuck to the story of the abdominal surgery.
Oh no.
Cool, right? Meanwhile, well, but like I think this happens afterwards as well. We got to remember that the current king, I nearly said Prince Charles, King
King.
Charles, he's also got cancer, right?
Yes.
So he's having to deal with that. Now Kate's gone, and then I think Camilla went off for a week as well, and everyone's just starting to think, oh,
What's going on?
what's going on with the royals? What's going on, right? And then
Yes.
obviously, you know, Harry and Meghan, they're off doing their thing, enjoying their best life.
Yes.
So it's like, what's happening, right? See, this is what happens. Old girl, the queen, we love you. Come back.
You were holding it together.
You were holding it all together.
You
Now
were
it's all
holding
falling
the
apart.
fort.
And so then on the 29th that they reported that, you know, she's making good progress and she goes home. Okay. Again, we don't see any photos of her. Like, so if I'll make it this point actually right now. It is very well known that the royal family have a chokehold on the UK press.
Mm-hmm.
So they're the ones that, you know, they always leak whatever's there's allegations that they've leaked certain stories against certain people. There's they're always gonna again put their boy Willie in good light because he's the chosen one for the next round.
Would you love William?
And obviously we don't even need to get into it. The whole Diana debacle, right? R.I.P. So there's that, right? Then we're into February. No surprise. There's no real major update there. They're like, it's the same as January. What we told you. Don't worry about it. It's all fine, right?
Not at all suspicious.
Not at all suspicious. And then we happen into March. These past 2 weeks have been ridiculous. Okay, so we're talking about the fact that so you got to keep in mind they keep saying to us, she's away till March 31st. Don't worry about her. She's fine. But then all of a sudden, on the 4th of March, there is an unofficial photo that is released by TMZ. I don't know why the US are getting involved in this now, but the UK, they've been told there's a media ban. They're like, the royal family is like, no, don't release anything. But it's a grainy ass photo with Kate and her mom. And let's be real. Let's be real. There's a bit of it feels a bit of speculation as well on the photo, the validity of the photo before we get to the actual photo, because she looks kind of different. She looks like a bit like her sister Pippa. Also, she looks like maybe something's happened to her face. Don't know. This is again speculation. Like
Pippa be fit.
Pippa is fit, but they've also got different faces, right? So anyway, so that's that. Then finally, we'll get to the piece de resistance. The whole reason why on the 10th of March, a Mother's Day photo was released by the what are they? The Prince and Princess of Wales. Now I'm going to say that very specifically because Prince and Princess of Wales. Where have we heard that before? Charles and Diana. Let that sizzle for a bit, right? So she released the photo on the grams, has not been seen for the last, 4 months, and saying that, Happy Mother's Day to everyone. Now,
because in Britain they have their Mother's Day.
Yeah, well, it's all out of whack, right? We agree on the metric system, but we don't agree on everything else, right? So whatever.
Unbelievable.
So, Kev, just for your reference, because I know, Kat, you would have seen
I've
that,
seen
right?
it, yes.
Kev, have you seen this photo?
Is it this one?
The one on the right? Yes. The one.
Colored one.
The colored one, yes. So
I can't see any abdominals in it. Like, what I mean is like, like it looks like a normal photo. How can you tell if it's photoshopped?
So there are key details in this photo where
you're talking about the hair.
all these like amazing sleuths on the internet where
Get a real job.
you don't need the CIA, you don't need the FBI. All you need is people from Twitter who can point out specific things. And this is why I show this to you, because AI, mate, AI Photoshop is real. So there's the hair detail. There's the weird, awkward hand positions with the children, the wrist. Yeah. Oh, what's going on with bloody Louis's finger again? Like, and this one I will discredit because apparently he's got his fingers like this. He's doing the Wu-Tang sign or something like that.
That's a jiu-jitsu grip. That's how you take the back.
So that I can like it's
excuse.
Not that I can excuse because kids be playing like that, right? Yeah. Anyway, but there's all of these things that like have brought into I guess the photo into question, and key details that the good people at Twitter have pointed out is these outfits look very similar to an appearance by the children and Kate in a previous appearance in like November, December. Mm-hmm. They note that the shoes that the boots was wearing is the same, although her the turtleneck thingy, the jumper that she's wearing, it was white.
Yes.
Yet in this thing, all of a sudden, it's black. Yes. And you know how crazy the internet is. I'm just going to touch on this very quickly. They found so there's a whole lot of blogs that, they talk about what are the royals wearing because, they wear nice stuff, right? Yes. This blog said that, it only comes in 2 colors, white and cream or something, or tan or something like that.
You're talking about the shoes?
No, the jumper. Oh my God. All of a sudden, it's black.
Guys,
so it's like...
And isn't it that they lined up that her face in the photo
is
similar to a magazine
Vogue
photo shoot?
Yes.
Like
so her face is the same face, of course.
This is where it kind of feels like, oh yes, the props that you've used is very well, like it makes me believe. And there is a bit of question, right? But what they're arguing is that the same photo that has been used for a Vogue magazine has been rotated to sit where her face is on this photo.
Yes.
And it's like perfect alignment.
Overlay.
So all your photography bros and brosefs are coming out saying like, I know photography, the lighting doesn't fit right, the placement of everything feels a bit too weird, etc., etc. Mm-hmm. So there's all this hoopla about this photo, right? Mm-hmm. Mind you, I must also say that there's a couple of major things, right? First of all, where's Kate's ring in this photo? There's no ring on her finger.
I see no
And
ring.
also, where was Will?
Yeah.
Turns out Will took the bloody photo, didn't he? Or did he? Right?
He did. It's unfocused in the center, so it looks like a
Well,
photo Will would take.
So, you know, the internet blows up. Like, what the hell is going on? The media is like, what is this? This looks fake, etc. Then, overnight, well, this is my overnight. This is probably their daytime. Reputable image companies like Getty, AP, all of those people are saying, like, they start putting kill notices out for the photo and saying that because
What's the kill notice?
Apparently it is a notice that they publish out that says this photo should not be used or circulated further because it is misleading and the source is in doubt. Now, they have only previously used this for North Korea. So this is dire straits right now, right? This is dire straits what's happening here, right?
Wow.
The royal family is being questioned. What is happening? The queen is like, the queen would never have this. It's falling apart, right? Anyway.
This is much to do about nothing.
So then, all of a sudden, who has to take the fall for this? Of course, Kate does, right? Because she's not even there at the moment. So then Kate issues an apology saying that, you know, from time to time, as we all do, we love to do a bit of Photoshop.
What she said, she photoshopped it.
Yeah.
Who the hell likes to do Photoshop from time to time?
Who? Like,
Don't they have their people to Photoshop?
surely they have interns and you know, like, and off with their head, like if they fuck it up, right? I don't know. Anyway,
Hey,
so
family show.
oh, and then also they released a photo of Kate with Will in the car to prove that she's there, to prove that she's alive.
But it was very grainy as well.
But it's a very
wasn't it?
grainy photo. She's looking away as well. And there's also speculation that they've sourced this photo from another event because why the hell would she be wearing a hat on a normal day?
Yes.
She's not going to an event or anything.
Yes.
So everyone's like, where's Kate, right?
Let's
Now,
go.
Before I get into the where's Kate of it all, right? I need to set some further context.
Oh my
This is
God.
going to probably be half an hour now that I realize it. We'll cut down
18
some things,
minutes.
right? Okay, anyway. So let's set some context of what's happening, how we've gotten to this point, etc. Right? For those that aren't in the know. So first and foremost, what is the drama that has surrounded Kate in recent times or in her past life that has led up to this? First, we got Meghan, yeah? We got Meghan Markle, yeah? There's talks about, you know, bullying, that there was competition between them, and then obviously there's some bro beef like that's happening that they've been influenced by because obviously Will and Harry don't get along
Bros
because
being
Will
bros.
is
Falling
a
out,
piece of
yeah.
shit,
Oh.
allegedly. And then also there was the famous wedding debacle where
Yes.
Charlotte had a big dress and then Kate was text messaging Meghan before the wedding. Like this is days before. Number one pro tip, you never stress out a bride before their big day. How dare you? You know what it's like. What are you doing anyway? So anyway, there's all that drama llama, right?
Yes.
Where did you get all these sticky notes
That
from?
weighs,
man?
and that weighs a lot on people, okay? Now, the second point I'd like to talk about in all of this, a factor, if you will, if I can get the bloody thing coming up.
Oh my God. Pick those
Racism!
sticky tapes up, man. We're in a recession, man.
So, in line with the Meghan thing, the reason why they've all fallen out is because, you
no.
know,
Shanti's coming.
the famous... infamous, I'll say, allegations that, you know, somebody in the royal family is a bit racist.
Yes.
Because they're concerned about the color of baby Archie's skin because, of
Yes.
course, it's a biracial baby.
Yes.
So, you know.
And the bloodline, blah,
And
blah,
all that
blah.
stuff, right?
Eurocentric, yes.
Now, Kate is allegedly could be that person who may have
made
said
the
that comment.
comment,
So,
yes.
you know, that's a lot of stress that can happen, right, to somebody, you know, amongst all this context, right?
Yes.
Now, third,
Number 3.
obviously we got William, right? We got William here, right? So, let me do a quick context about the relationship of Kate and Will, right? So, one, they met during uni, and it is very famously told that Kate had actually changed her uni selection to basically be around Will. I think it was like St. Andrew's College or something like that. So That's point number one, right? That's like kind of woo-woo alarm bells, kind of gold digging style aspirations. You know, you're the main character in your own movie, that type of thing, right?
Because also, isn't it apparently her mother played a factor in that too?
Yes.
Of wanting her to
And
be...
setting it up. Thank you. Yes. Thank you very much. Okay, so we got that. So obviously, there's the infamous, story where, you know, to get Will's attention, because Kate was in fashion when she was younger, she was hustling in this, like, very see-through dress that is, you know, supposed to woo the man, etc. So get his interest going, right?
This was in the latest season of The Crown.
Correct. Correct. It's factually correct because they made a TV show about it and it's true, right? Number 5. It's important to point out here when they started dating that there was also rumors of, you know, concern about Kate Middleton. Now, why would they be concerned about Kate Middleton? Because she's from working class. She's a commoner. Who else was a commoner back in the day? Who?
Princess Di.
Correct. Correct. The lines are paralleling, right? Okay. So then obviously
lines are parallel.
Alleged horse Camilla over here was apparently at this point in time, she's like, you know, taking the throne as, you know, like dethroned Diana is now supposed to be the stepmother and whatnot. Was a bit concerned that, you know, she's not worthy of William's love and affection because, you know, she's seen that in her past life, hasn't she? Then they split up for a bit. Kate becomes a party girl in her glossy posse era. And, you know, she builds up all of her, like, her profile and esteem and that of course, Will has to come back to her, right?
Yes.
They then get engaged in 2010. And he had the audacity to use Diana's ring after he said so much shit about her. Oh, I don't think he said about it at that point of time, but you know what I mean, right?
Yes.
Anyway, and then now obviously Kate is now primed to be the next queen consort because Charles is clearly like he's only got a certain shelf life to go. And then obviously Will's next, right? So you'd all think it's all be peachy between them, knowing that, you know, you're going to be the next like ruler and whatnot. But that sets up for the drama, doesn't it?
Let's go.
Here we go. Now,
Where did you get all these things from, man?
this is now the conspiracy time of the piece de resistance of what I'm going to go through. All right? So, let's run through the theories that we have now that we've set up the context and everything. And thank you to the good people on Twitter. I cannot source all of you, but like you're doing God's work in this place and being, you know, keen-eye reporters or whatever, right? And this is all speculation. I must stress
all
this, right?
alleged.
Now, you know, where is Kate? Why is she gone, right? So the first theory that we have here, if I can get the bloody thing out, sorry, is obviously stress, right? It's stress. So, you know, she's supposed to come back in time at Easter. That's, you know, to be confirmed. And, you know, it's all about abdominal surgery and whatnot. But if you're telling me that her, you know, its recovery takes 2 weeks, then why is she out for so long, right? So, you know, could she be taking a break? Could there be, you know, discourse amongst the family that, you know, has caused her all this stress that, you know, she's like, yeah, I just need to cool my jets for a bit because, you know, I've been running with this family for so long. It's like, I got to do me. Mental health is very important. That's no joke, okay?
Yes.
In light of everything that was happening with Meghan and whatnot, right?
Yes.
And Harry, right? So there's that. Now, 2. I should not have taken that one out, but anyway. Marital distress. Obviously with Will, right?
You're causing marital distress now.
John, stop.
It's going to get stuck to her lip.
There we go.
Okay.
So, marital distress, rumors of marital distress. It's been well documented, you know, that Will the apple doesn't fall.
Cheating.
The apple doesn't fall far from the tree, right?
The
You know,
tree, yes.
you know, yeah. Like so, there's, you know, allegations of affairs. There's allegations that he likes to do pegging as well. So, you know, there's that. What can you do, right? So that leads into the next point. Now I have to fold this up. I told myself I had to fold this up. Where is Hanbury, right? Who's this random chick, right? So apparently she's the Marchioness?
What is up with you? I just
Of Chumley.
Of Chumley. Now, it's not spelled like how I said it, but it's Chumley.
Allegedly, that's how it's said.
Allegedly, that's how it's said, right? Now, she is apparently she was a neighbor of Will and Kate's in 2019 in Summer State, etc. And they became really good mates, right? So as I said, she's married to this guy called David Rock Savage, who's the male equivalent of this role, whatever that is, right? And he is 63 years old. They have about 2 children together. Now, it is alleged that...
Wait, stop. Chance.
It is alleged that it is an arranged marriage in the sense that all he wants from her is hair. Like, all he wants is babies so that they can bring the lineage through. Yes. Because apparently he is gay inclined. So there's context for you, right? Alleged, right? Now, in light of all of this, right? I'm telling you all of this. Why, right? Because in 2019 as well, there was an alleged fallout between Kate and Rose. Now, why is that? What could have possibly happened, right? Will is the problem. Because apparently there's the alleged affair. And now what's happening is apparently Rose is pregnant with Will's baby. Let that sink in for a bit, right? Dad. That's no bueno, right? That's no good. Now, in light of all of this, where is Kate business? There was an article that was released by a UK press that started to introduce who is Rose Hanbury in all of this. So what are they doing? They're soft launching the mistress. This is a different decade, same bullshit, same history. Some shit's going down, right? Yes. That's Camilla 2.0. Okay.
The patterns are patterning.
The patterns are patterning indeed. And where am I going now? Oh, 5. Okay. Sorry. I'm nearly done, I promise. This is just taking a lot harder than I thought. Okay. Now, let me introduce one more other name to you, okay? It is Thomas Kingston. Now, who is that guy? Apparently, he's the ex of Pippa Middleton, but also apparently had an alleged affair with Kate Middleton.
Jeez.
Now, why is that? So the word on the street is that allegedly that Kate found out about this situation. She wasn't happy about it. So then she ended up having an affair with this guy and was like to Will, hey, look at me now, power play. I can do the same, right? So then things apparently, allegedly transpired where, so she told Will about it. Then Will and Thomas had a fight about it. And apparently there's a photo of Will where he was bruised on the face. And then a couple of weeks later or whatnot, months later, Thomas Kingston mysteriously died of like trauma wounds in February this year.
Jeez.
Yeah? Yeah?
Wow.
And why is that? Why is that? Because apparently there's also another baby. There's another baby in the midst, and that's the whole reason why Kate had to get abdominal surgery, because she was told to abort the baby, but she wanted to apparently keep it. That's the word on the street. Allegedly. Right? Now, in light of all of this situation, the recent drama that's happening now is that apparently now Kate's going to be MIA until June. So there's supposed to be a sovereign birthday that happens, and it's the thing where all the royal family stand on the the balcony and they wave and whatnot. Apparently, her name has been removed off the list as a guest. So what's going on? Is it complications? Is it is she dead, or is she just playing chicken with Will to get to a point of either drop her or else like I'm out of here? But then really, what's her leverage if history is shown that they'll get rid of the first wife? It don't matter. It don't matter because it always apparently matters about the guy. Yeah. And this is why we need Queenie back in the midst. But well, what can we do? And that's
maybe that's why Queenie left, because this was brewing.
It was too much. What's all of this? It's too much. You see the red? Anyway, I rest my case.
That deserves an applause. Wow.
Thoughts, feelings, emotions.
Just come and show them hijack.
Kate! Where is Kate?
That was impressive.
I'm pretty tired now, guys.
Nothing but impressive.
But it's
more to come.
All of this paper will be recycled, by the way. I'll have you know.
Yes.
So,
oh my god, the amount of background I have to do for sure.
An incredible presentation.
Very good.
Wow.
Okay, we'll go to the last topic because we're nearly out of time. TikTok no more in the US. You guys heard about this, right?
Yes.
So
Yep.
on March 13th, 2024, the US House of Reps passed a bill that could lead to a TikTok ban. What they basically want is the bill essentially forces ByteDance, the Chinese company that owns TikTok, to sell the app's US operations entirely. So it's now basically gets passed to the US Senate to see if they go through. So just a couple of main points here. The US politicians have always had a bug to bear against TikTok, obviously citing tensions between China and the US. It's insane how much power that TikTok does have in the US, right?
Yes.
Do you think that TikTok's usage or influence in Australia is as big as the US? It's a pretty big used app here. I mean, obviously the populations aren't the same,
I
but
feel out of place as somebody that doesn't use TikTok, but
it is.
I often consume their videos via Instagram.
Via
or
Instagram,
Twitter.
right?
Yes.
And you can tell it because it has a little TikTok
Yeah,
stuff
yeah,
there,
yeah,
right?
yeah,
So I think the major points here is, I mean, like this is the first time that there's been bipartisan support by two parties to put something through. So it's hard enough getting these Republicans and Democrats to agree on anything, and there seems to be unison there. So, tick for one. The other interesting thing that has been going around on the internet is the fact that TikTok in the US, they released like a notification. Let me just read what was actually said, right? Give me a sec. So this was a notification in the US version of TikTok to all TikTok users, which basically says, stop a TikTok shutdown. Congress is planning a total ban on TikTok. Speak up now before your government strips 170 million Americans of their constitutional right to freedom of expression. This will
They're not
damage
wrong.
millions of
They're not
business.
wrong.
And what happened after this is they were the Congress and they were inundated with calls from Gen Zs and young people saying,
Fight the power.
what is a
Yes.
saying, what is a congressman? Why is my TikTok? So they literally jammed the lines, and it's absolutely hilarious. But it just shows how much power that it actually has, and like the younger generation. There were people outside of Washington Capitol, outside of Capitol Hill, protesting about TikTok.
Oh no, there's the insurrection part too.
This is nuts,
Gen Z.
man.
Wait, hold on. I missed something. So is this an
It's not-
action? Is this an action in light of, I guess, the Congress hearings that they've had with social media? Like,
Look, I think it's been simmering. Obviously, like the timings make it appear this is the case. Like, I don't think that, like, we're not 100% into like the US politics. Well, that's a lie. But anyway, look, so it's
we
in the
made our
House.
whole channel based on it.
It's in the House of Reps, right? So
Yeah.
kind of like the Australian ones, they
Yeah.
meet up regularly, right?
Yeah.
So obviously this has been like a conversation point. They
Yeah.
passed a bill. So if you have like
I know what a bill is, but what's the what's
what's caused it? What's the
Yeah.
impetus? Like this as a conversation point has always been the case.
Yeah.
It's just there've been tensions between the US and China.
yeah.
And basically it's a national security concern. That's basically what they're based on, right?
Okay.
So specifically what
We're
they're
giving our
forcing-
data to China.
Correct, right?
Yeah, okay, cool.
So the bill
I'm
forces
following now. I just had to.
ByteDance.
Sorry, I had to just recoup
After the
myself
Kate.
after the Kate thing.
So
again.
ByteDance is basically the Chinese company that owns TikTok.
Yes.
The bill wants it to force them to sell not like the US operations of it, basically where they store the data. So they're saying they don't trust it, right?
Yeah.
And when TikTok and a lot of the social media guys were getting grilled, a lot of the specifics about it, I think this was last year when we were talking about it, well, where is the actual information stored?
Yes.
US soil, Chinese
Yes,
soil.
yes.
To which the point of who cares where it's stored, even if it's stored in US soil, if it's by a Chinese organization,
They have the rights to it,
aka
regardless.
ByteDance, there is a concern that it can be used to spy on Americans, right? They
Yeah.
have insane amounts of data and capital and all that sort of stuff. And now I think we're going into an election year. There's just insane amounts of paranoia, right?
Yeah.
And when you think about like how like the fact that they were able to put a notification, they were able to get all these young, and they were young people. They're not like 80-year-olds in Capitol Hill saying, stop me from TikTok. It's Gen Z and Gen
Yeah.
Y. It kind of like, it's kind of interesting to see how much power that they have. And obviously there's a lot of TikTokers. It's a revenue stream, right? Like, so they're complaining about it, and like there's big hoo-ha here. And to note, by the way, the specificities of the bill means that they're giving ByteDance 165 days to sell. So 165 days is what? Approximately 6 months, give or take. That's the number that I've heard. So it's interesting. Because if you think about it, who are the major technology companies that could buy TikTok? It's
What Google Meta?
exactly. So if you think of it as
Sorry,
like,
it's not Google. It's what are they called? It's
I guess what I'm
Alphabet?
saying, yeah, is it's not going to be an oil company like Enron. It's going to consolidate and push into companies that already are in that sort of
Already in
space.
space.
So
Yeah.
logically, actually, it makes sense for Meta to take over it because if you think about how close Meta is with Instagram, but that's what I mean.
Sorry, can you just imagine if Elon got it? Oh,
Well, that's another thing, right? Who can afford it? Number one, who is in the space? They're not oil companies there. It leads to a consult. There's almost like a conspiracy theorist in me to say that, like,
you should get your board. You want my board?
that is to say that, look, realistically, they can't shut TikTok. Can they shut TikTok off? I don't know. Just think of the backlash of it, right?
Yeah.
So is this about actually shutting TikTok down, or is it about getting it sold to one of these major companies so that they have US things,
wow.
right?
Spicy.
Because
Wow.
again, realistically, just say if you were to give them a chance to sell it, 6 months is. I'm not saying that it's not enough time, but something
It's
that big needs a year or something,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah,
Like we're
to
talking
negotiate.
a fair amount of time. So they're creating.
Paperwork takes a lot of time, guys. You know.
They're creating like conditions that just make it really challenging. But like again, I think just interestingly enough, obviously the news sphere went nuts about this, and like we're in Australia, so they're talking about the Albanese government. I think no government wants to tackle this because it's quite a messy thing.
It's a different world war, isn't it?
It is, but they've got like TikTok is probably one of the fastest growing, if not biggest apps in the App Store.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's a young people's thing. I don't know of any 80-year-olds that look at TikTok. A lot of people are actually consuming news through TikTok.
Yes.
And
Yes.
this is a problem. I mean, we talked about the whole meta
Last
thing.
week, yeah.
I mean, Gen Z, I mean, Kat, you're not massive into TikTok, right? But
No.
I know people that are huge into it. And
Yes.
they consume everything. Entertainment, news, there's no filter there. And it can kind of like anything, but like it can be used to spread misinformation, right?
Absolutely.
I should also cite one of my other sources in all of this. I gave
TikTok.
great credit to Twitter because that's where I consumed it. But a lot of the videos
TikTok.
that were there
Reels.
were from TikTok.
Yeah.
Well,
Again, not to say that like it's wrong because they're created by individuals that can reference things. You can have the same wrong misinformation in YouTube and stuff like that, which is why I always fact check and let us know if we're incorrect. Like we're willing
politely.
we're willing to accept constructive is the word criticism here. But I think it's really sort of interesting because of how much power these companies have. And again, they're talking about the same thing for Meta. They're talking about the same thing for Alphabet, like all those social media, Instagram, etc. But the main difference is TikTok is Chinese led, right? Like this is inherently the main issue, right?
Yeah.
Which is really interesting and something to follow because I don't know. Firstly, if the Senate Senate in the US will approve it, and if it does, this. Yeah, in the midst of like an election sort of campaign, it'll be very interesting to see what happens. TikTok, obviously, the Chinese are saying this is, I mean, the literal words that they're using is blocking the right to freedom of expression. I love
Mate,
it.
you got to play
I
ball.
love
You
this.
have to play ball
I love this.
with how they
Freedom
play ball,
of
right?
expression.
That's
Exactly.
But there are a lot
ballsy
of,
ass move, but necessary.
it's interesting when you look at like traditional media in the US and people that are against it, and I remember like a CNBC video where they had this Asian chick who was saying that her parents had a Vietnamese restaurant,
Yeah.
and she videoed them. Basically, a lot of people use it as advertising platforms,
100%,
right?
yeah.
And it gets insane virality. And I'm thinking, but technically, why can't you do that to Instagram videos? Like you could theoretically do it, right? Like what I mean is the power for these social networks is when people come on them and use and interact with them, right? That's one thing. But the other thing that's interesting, let's take away the fact that is just social media as a whole and what it's doing to the younger generation in society. When you look at like TikTok feeds for people, what goes viral? It's these stupid dances. Apparently,
It's the way that I guess to your point about Instagram versus TikTok. TikTok were the first to do it, right?
Yeah.
First and foremost, isn't it like the app came from Musically, technically, like back in the day, where it was
Something like that.
yeah. So it's I guess the first in the market,
And
that advantage, that piece, right?
And
But
it's like
all-
kind of following in the footsteps of like Vine
Yeah.
back in the day.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But then that's where, like, I guess from a marketing position of where these apps sit, if Instagram was always about just photos, and that's how, and then they when they started putting in the algorithm and messing with my feed, like, that's when it all started to go to shit. And then you obviously got to look what other competitors are doing and try and play in that space. But if TikTok, sorry. I would love some TikToks at the moment, actually.
Yeah.
But if TikTok were the first to do it, and they've got that market kind of like that penetration there with that generation, they're not going to move, because it's, again, Instagram is what, owned by Meta, which is what, Facebook. Oh, it's so old, right? It's that generational thing, right?
Even then, it's the fact that the way that TikTok functions is like it's really like hijacked the brain chemistry,
Yeah.
like attention spans of the younger generation, which is why all it is just mindless scrolling even more than
We see this in
say,
Netflix,
Facebook.
right? The power that the organizations have to perpetuate what gets what do you call it, popular at any one time is insane, right? For example, like the top 10 in Netflix Australia, we'll often be scrolling through and we're like, why the hell is this movie there? It's a 2017 movie, and all of a sudden it's trending, right? And the reason I say that is because apparently the most viral video on TikTok is a picture, like a video of with chocolate covered strawberries, like just stupid stuff. The point I'm getting is stupid stuff, right? But apparently the content in TikTok in China is actually really like intellectually prowess stuff. They have stuff about like musicians, technologists, etc., which is the point they're getting. In Western countries, they perpetuate quote unquote dumb content to basically numb the brain. To numb the brain. And in China, if you go to the actual TikTok, their TikTok is about really like wholesome, intellectually stimulating stuff. Which is, if you think about,
You need a board, mate.
If you-
This is good
Get your
stuff on a
board.
no, but
board.
this is not new at all. The people have been saying this here, and this is, I guess, what the government is saying. Apart from the spying element, is a very easy element to say, hey, this is that bad. Like, there is a national security thing, right? But the whole element is, if we think about like the stuff that goes viral, it's not a TikTok thing, it's a YouTube thing as well.
Yeah.
But the thing we like about YouTube is at least the long form content is like promoted and encouraged. And I think that's where you consume a lot more
and
long
quality as well.
And Instagram is like blending that, and TikTok is trying to get there. But the problem is, what constitutes for virality and what constitutes for views is dumb shit. I'm sorry. And this is what the young kids, they grow up thinking, oh, you know what? If I'm gonna be a TikToker, I need to do crazy dances. You know, or I need to do skits.
or you need to do stunts where,
I'm not
pranks
saying
and stuff.
I'm not saying skits are wrong or stuff like that, but I'm just, like at a certain point, like create something that adds value, and skits do add value, by the way. But you get what I'm
Yes.
saying, right?
Yeah.
It's like what are you feeding your mind, and that stuff is in TikTok, but that stuff doesn't get maybe as good exposure. And the other thing is the way to, and we do it too. We play the game because follow us on TikTok as well. But the way we have to get the podcast out there is to chop it, right? Chop it to the most
You gotta get the
controversial bits,
attention.
or the most bite
Bake them
grabby
in.
bits, which is essentially,
And we appreciate you, subscribers.
that's it. You're the real ones. You're the real ones. Okay, tell me this: if you had to get rid of one
We've
social,
had this question
so
already.
what is it? Tell me. What would it be?
Out of my current, one app that I currently use,
Social media app
or one app in general
that you use
that I use
to get rid of it.
to get rid of it.
You don't think it adds value in your life, but you're still on it.
Facebook.
Facebook?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure I said that the first time. I'm pretty sure it's the same.
What about you, Kat?
I was about to say, yeah, probably Facebook is most likely the one I would say as well. But sometimes I still use like group functions, for
Yeah.
example. You know,
I'm still
like
stuck on
pages.
I use Messenger still.
Yeah, I'm
Yeah,
still stuck on
Messenger.
Facebook Marketplace. I can't get rid of that one. What would it be? I mean, I think I'm constantly stuck in Instagram. I think should get rid of that. Like I haven't posted on Instagram for so long, so I'm one of those consumers. So you go to browse and we're just sending each other images of like cute ducks and
Memes.
stuff like that.
I I know the one.
That's
you're
all.
talking
That's all
about.
you. It's a cute duck. It's the cute duck. Quack, quack.
Yeah.
It's so cute though, man. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah. It's just.
Well, especially you were saying about how Instagram, like their own algorithm thing, and when you're scrolling and you're like, I don't follow this. Why is this on my where I'm scrolling? You know?
Yeah.
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 It's all blending.
Yeah.
all-
They're
it's
all
all
gonna
blending.
become one conglomerate, and then you just
Well.
go online.
Well, we shall see. We shall see. All right. Look, I'm looking at the time. Okay, we have a little bit of time. We won't talk too much about this, but apparently,
Breaking news.
breaking news. This happened on Friday, which was
Disaster.
15th.
The end has come.
A major IT outage caused the closing down of a lot of McDonald's across America, Australia, New Zealand, Japan.
Disaster.
Can you imagine, seriously though, rocking up and you're like, you've been thinking about these nuggets all day, right? Like you've been thinking about these nuggets all day, and you go in and you're like, "Doo, doo," like the ducks, right?
Oh yeah.
And then it's closed. Like I'm not.
Or cash only, I heard. Yeah.
I don't even
Wow.
think they do cash only because they couldn't open. Like it was.
I heard before hearing about this on our local community feeds, which is ironically on Facebook, a lot of people were saying on our community threads, it's like, oh, this Macca's is closed, like the drive-through doesn't work and stuff. I'm
what
like,
do you remember? What time that
that's
was?
a very specific thing to
Yeah,
say. It was
yeah.
like Friday evening.
So
or
basically,
something like that.
the
Yeah.
payment system got compromised.
Yeah.
They're not saying the quote and unquote IT attack word, but it happened across countries.
Wow.
To me, this just shows how like I don't even know if they would have been taking cash. Because can you imagine if you give like
Can you imagine the poor children that work at Macca's
Exactly.
who are not used to any people contact anymore? That's my big gripe with Macca's at the moment, because we're supposed to put it all in the machines and stuff like that. All of a sudden, they're like, What is
I
this?
don't even think they'd be able to take cash out because the payment system is connected
it's
to
connected to the
EFTPOS.
till, right?
It's connected
Yeah.
to the till. So
Yeah.
they had all these burgers that's just got, they should have just given it for free. But like, can you imagine? This is like the Optus thing all over again, right?
It's pretty dire. When
It's
you think
pretty
about
dire
it.
that, like-
Can you imagine on a Friday night and you're like,
People
yeah,
want their McDonald's.
people want their McDonald's, bundle meals and whatnot, and
They don't want to cook dinner.
and disaster.
Yeah.
If it was a
Can't
24
get their
hours one.
McChickies.
Just say you had a craving for like a thick shake, and you can't get that.
Oh, I wouldn't go to Macca's
You'll
A
be
for a
surprised.
thick
You'll
shake.
be-
Say a McFlurry.
Yeah.
Sorry, McFlurry. But yeah, I thought that was pretty nuts, and yeah.
Yeah, even Dad mentioned it to me. I was like, whoa, that's rough.
What's this? What's the status? Have they said anything
I think it's
about
back,
it since?
but the weird thing is it didn't like it's not like all outlets were affected.
Yeah.
So it was weird. So you had some affected and others not. But
A natural selection.
I mean, again, this is nuts that
Whoever needs an upgrade in their in
Maybe.
their systems
it
and
just
stuff.
takes an IT system crashing for the whole world to go down.
Well,
That's basically it.
Absolutely.
It's
that's always the
basically-
threat.
Well,
That's
for
always the threat of
example-
digitization, right?
They
For
start with our
example, if
phones,
the
then they come at
internet-
Macca's. They're all coming for the things that we need.
Yeah.
Just-
Kat, what
Yeah.
was you saying?
Like, all it takes is the internet just going kapoof, and we won't know what to do for a lot of stuff.
Speaking, I'll get some burgers after this.
Yes, we are.
Yes, we
They
are.
better not be crashed. They better not be crashing.
It's not Macca's. Macca's sponsor us, and then we might. You know?
Maybe.
I
We
don't
might.
know. You
Maybe.
You
know.
know you got a marketing budget.
Allegedly.
Anyway, this is a good episode, guys. We appreciate you, tuning in. So if you like what you saw, give us a thumbs up. Leave some comments below. We've got
Tell us
sections
what
as
you
well.
think. Where's Kate?
What do you think of the
Still
Oscars?
peddling. What did you think of the whole whiteboards? The whole bloody
What do you think is going to
Love
happen to
that.
TikTok? You know,
What do you think about our chants?
TikTok.
our mascot, our
Anyway.
official mascot.
See you guys next week. Bye.
Alright.
Peace.
Yeah.
Bye.